Hi, good afternoon. Here we are again looking at a Civil War block, and this one's going to be number 5, and I think we'll just do the 1 this time. This is called Hovering Hawks, and if you look at it, it does look like it could be winged birds flying. Let's have you look at it with me. This is Hovering Hawks. Now the upper one was done with lots of blues and red, and the lower one used this color in the middle was almost a purple. So I have purple, and so I think what I'm going to do is that lower one. In fact, I did it, the small block, almost exactly like that. But my larger block, I went for a slightly different color combo because I already had these pieces cut out. Let me move you a little bit closer. Can you see that okay? Instead of, I put the purple in these blocks here, and this is where they had white, well, a white small print. You see it? And I used the yellow, pale yellow flowers, and navy blue instead of the red. But the rest of it is pretty close. It does look like that. Let me see. Where does that? There. So let me tell you about it. It says, it's talking about hawks were predators that keep a hawk eye out for breakfast of smaller birds and rodents. And so their name, the hawk, was used with the different guerrilla groups because they are on the lookout and were predators. So they had jayhawkers, remember hearing about them, who swooped in during the pre-war days of the Kansas troubles. Well, Kansas had a terrible time because they weren't declared, I believe, one way or the other. So they had both factions busily fighting each other in their state or their area. So this one was given the name Hovering Hawks by Ruth Finley in 1929. And if you'll remember, during the 29-30 era, there were a number of books that were written about quilting and textiles during the Civil War days. And I think that's where a lot of Barbara Brockman, her book, came from, is that she researched this and came to find that there was quite a bit of interest in the Civil War era textiles during the 20s and 30s because there were books written at that time. And then again later in the 60s and 80s. So she has really done a lovely job of researching these blocks. So this is called the Hovering Hawks. Now this is the large one for the, I believe it's 12 by 12 is what its finished size is going to be. Now this is going to be the 8.5 by 8.5. So let me show you what that one looks like. We'll lay it out. It'll be quite a bit smaller, so I think we'll have plenty of room to work with. This is what part of the fun is doing this part, right? And I think these white ones were the center, wherever the yellow was. Once you get some of these set out, then you can tell where the rest of them are going to go. let's see here. Oh yes, it's right here. And all we have left are the gray. What do you think of that one? They look pretty similar, huh? I tried to use the same depth of color, but I really did like that purple. This is from a, well, what is it from? I think it was, I thought it was from a Kansas Trouble. Let me look it up. I know I bought it in a grouping with Kansas Trouble fabrics. It said, oh yes, it is. It's Chickadee Landing from Kansas Troubles. Well, isn't that appropriate? By Moda. And this was from Rita's Quilted Chicken Farm quilt store. Very good price. I think it was 8 or less per yard. And it's very fine fabric. Feels totally different than what I find at our poor old JoAnn's. Well, I'm going to miss having them because they were always convenient for all kinds of stuff that you needed that you couldn't find anywhere else. But, so here's my two, what's the name of them? Hovering Hawks. Now this, let's see, I want to read to you from the Journal of Anne Froebel in Northern Virginia. And she was talking about having her people bury the silver cutlery, because it was a common precaution to bury your valuables, because when those spoon hawks came, the Yankees came, they would steal the silver and melt it down for whatever they needed. So this block named the Hovering Hawks was named by Ruth Finley based on this journal entry from Anne Froebel in Northern Virginia. And here, when you get your Barbara Brockman book, you can read it, and it's quite interesting because they're talking about, they take the bread from the women and children, for men are long gone, and they demanded quilts, comfort, and cutlery. Interesting, huh? They needed quilts, so they emptied the houses of the quilts. Well, this is the Hovering Hawks, and that's it for Civil War Block 5 of Barbara Brockman's Civil War Sampler. Be sure to get yours this week and get started. There's plenty of time, because if you want to do the full meal deal, there's 50 blocks. And they're very interesting looking, aren't they? I just love them. Okay, until next time, thank you. Bye now.